Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
The Second Amendment gives every American citizen the right to keep and bear arms. So why is California so against allowing its citizens to protect themselves and defend themselves in public? Today I wanted to walk the streets of San Diego and actually ask some of the citizens here if they think their Second Amendment rights are being infringed upon here in California.
Of course, it's being infringed on me, myself. I'm trying to actually get a permit right now to conceal carry in the state. I guess there is a procedure. You're supposed to go through the sheriff's office. So I'm trying to actually, on Monday, I'm going to call and see exactly what the exact procedure is, but I've heard it's very, very difficult.
I can vouch for that. I've tried to get my California concealed carry permit too, and yeah, I got shot down. You basically have to have a really, really good reason, and the sheriff will sit there and determine what's a good reason and what is not. That definitely, to me, sounds like an infringement on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I don't know what gives him the authority to take that right away.
When you take away an individual's right for self-defense, what you're saying, basically, is that person's life is not worth defending. You know, somebody very wise once said, if somebody had a gun and is trying to kill you, it would be reasonable for you to shoot back with your own gun. Any idea who said that? The Dalai Lama. Yeah, not even lying. Go look it up.
In the state of California, they're actually very, very strict about who can carry a firearm, where they can carry it. Do you feel like that's an infringement on our right, the Second Amendment, to bear arms?
Yes, sir. Actually, I do. I believe that if it's in the Second Amendment, it should be legal everywhere.
Do you feel that additional gun laws being put in place that would take guns away from law-abiding citizens, is that going to help the situation at all here?
No, it's really not going to help the situation at all because, again, I reiterate, people that have ill intent, they're going to find a way to do what they want to do.
A couple of years ago, the CDC did a very comprehensive study to see how many times firearms were used in a self-defense manner. Well, they found that almost 500,000 times a year, an American citizen used a firearm in defense. Funny how that kind of information didn't get out, right?
Somebody else is determining whether or not you have the right to protect yourself.
I think I've heard actually a very good quote. I don't know if it was on InfoWars, but I think it was somebody talking on maybe there. He said something about how people gotta get it confused between a right and a privilege. Mm-hmm. So when we say rights, we mean something that is just given to us because we are alive and we have consciousness and we are humans.
A good example of a privilege is a driver's license, right? That's a privilege. The right to actually protect yourself from others trying to do you physical harm, that is a right. It's very, very difficult to actually carry concealed in the state of California. However, there is a bill called the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Bill. What that would do is it would actually make someone that has a concealed carry license in Arizona, for example, they could still come to California and still have their weapon on them. It'd be more like a driver's license. Like if you have your driver's license and you drive all the way to Florida, you're not suddenly illegally driving because you've got a California license. You're able to drive through all the states, and that's what the reciprocity bill would do. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's the same thing as a license. If you have it in one state, you shouldn't change as soon as you leave to the next one.
It's crazy to think that only a few generations ago, people were marching for their rights, their right to vote, their right to be treated like everyone else. These days, we've got kids out there marching in the streets to have their rights taken away, which is absurd. We've got people out there chanting about the NRA and how many people have you killed today? The answer is 0.
Hey, hey, NRA! How many kids did you kill today?
0, actually.
Hey, hey, NRA. How many kids did you kill today?
0?
Hey, hey, NRA.
Look, knuckleheads. It was 0 yesterday, it's 0 today, and it's gonna be 0 tomorrow. 98% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. Shouldn't they be the safest areas on the planet if there's no guns allowed there? You know who else is jumping on board this whole gun control thing, trying to disarm the American citizens? The supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei. Of course, I'm sure he's just concerned about the well-being of the American citizens, right? Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we are talking about the Second Amendment and whether or not it's being infringed upon in California, which I think we can all agree upon that it definitely is. I mean, there's so much red tape around the type of weapons that you can own, the paperwork involved to try and have a concealed carry license is absurd, and then you've got somebody else out there that is deciding whether or not you have a good enough reason to defend your life. Not just the fact that you want to protect yourself or you're protecting your family. That's not enough. Somebody else is the decider. They're deciding whether or not you can carry a firearm to defend yourself and the people that you love. So that's the state of affairs in California right now. The left is going bonkers over a certain type of weapon. The AR-15, obviously, is what they're focusing all of their vile hatred upon right now. Guns in general, but the AR-15 seems to be the poster child of bad guns. California's gone so far as to actually require you to change your pistol grip on the AR-15. You can't wrap your thumb around anymore because that makes the gun way too dangerous. They have this weird looking blade thing now, so you can't put your thumb around it. But when you're pulling the trigger, it's still semi-automatic. It's still going to fire just as fast as you can move your fingers. So I am completely lost as to how that is making the gun any safer. It's that grip. They just don't want your thumb to go around the grip. That somehow is going to make the gun safer. Good thinking, guys. Good job. In reality, only about 2% of these mass shootings that the MSM is covering constantly, an AR-15 is used less than 2% of the time in those shootings. The majority of the time, it's a handgun being used, but the left is not real concerned about handguns right now, let's face it. Let's get the scary-looking AR-15 off the streets, though. Let's get it off the streets. Honestly, it's no different than a hunting rifle. If it's semi-automatic, it's going to fire as fast as you can move your finger. I actually got a really insightful tweet the other day from a friend of mine in Europe who said, take advice from a European's point of view. Last century, our government disarmed us. Now, in Germany and the UK, they arrest you for Twitter and Facebook posts. The lesson to be learned there, if the government takes away your Second Amendment, one day it will take away your First. And I couldn't agree more. I could talk till I'm blue in the face about this kind of stuff. But there are people out there that just don't want to hear what I'm saying. They don't want to listen to logic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put up an image on the screen. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, here you go. Maybe this will help me get my point across. This is a picture of shoes, obviously. These shoes belong to Jews who gave up their firearms to a man named Adolf Hitler. They were then led to gas chambers. They were murdered and buried in mass graves. Pick up a history book. It's real easy to find reasons why we need to defend our Second Amendment as U.S. citizens. Because like my friend said, once you lose that Second Amendment, the First Amendment and the rest of our freedoms are not far behind. Believe me, friends, when I say this, the people that are out there actively looking to take away our Second Amendment, to take away our right to bear arms, to take away our guns, I guarantee you, they plan on keeping theirs. This is Jeff Sullivan reporting for Infowars.com.